Welcome in, everybody. Ready to dig into a story that's more than just about fluffy towels.
Definitely.
We're going to see how Riviera Towel Company went from like a small shop to a global brand. You know, the kind that everybody wants, from like big tech companies to fancy hotels.
Yeah, it's a really interesting story about entrepreneurship,
Mm-hmm.
about kind of continuously changing your business to stay ahead of the game.
Absolutely. And we've got a lot to work with today. Articles, interviews, we've even got their company website. It's the whole story of Albert and Shannon DiPadova, the husband and wife team behind it all.
And what's interesting is that they didn't start with towels.
Yeah.
Albert had already started and sold like a whole other company, an adventure travel company.
Wow.
Yeah, and that must have given him some really valuable experience, figuring out what the market needs, how to build a brand.
So you already had that entrepreneurial spirit, basically.
Yeah, definitely.
But what made him go from adventure travel to like luxurious Turkish towels? It's a big jump.
Well, it seems like they had their aha moment during a trip to Turkey.
Okay.
They saw how great these towels were. Lightweight, they look great, made from like really high quality Turkish cotton.
Yeah.
And they weren't so common back then, so they saw a gap in the market.
They were in the right place at the right time. But they didn't just start importing towels, did they? They actually opened a physical store in Santa Barbara.
Right.
Makes you wonder, was that always the plan, or did they like change their minds as they went along?
I think it shows how much they were willing to adapt. They started local, but then they jumped into e-commerce pretty quickly, targeting other beach shops first.
Smart.
Yeah, they were smart. They used their knowledge of that niche market before going big.
Okay, so they knew online was important right from the start. But here's where it gets really interesting. They changed their whole focus to custom products for big companies, corporations, and even those really high-end hotels.
Yeah.
I mean, that's playing in a whole different league.
Totally. It shows that they knew how to add value and stand out. They weren't just selling towels anymore. They were offering a whole experience, custom branding, high quality materials.
Right.
And it's a really good strategy if you want higher profits and to build a really premium brand image.
Yeah, it's like they took those, personalized merchandise and made it luxurious.
Exactly.
And it didn't stop with just towels either, right? They've got blankets, bathrobes, beach bags.
Yeah.
They've got a whole lifestyle experience now.
And to make it even more personalized, they even opened a showroom.
Really?
Yeah. It means that clients can really engage with the brand on another level. They can touch the fabrics, experience the designs.
That is so smart. It's not just another online store. They're building a real identity.
Exactly.
But let's talk about, like, their commitment to giving back.
Mm.
They donate some of their profits to marine conservation, right?
Mm.
And they support local and global organizations.
Yeah, it's a really core part of their brand, and I think people see that and respond to it. You're not just buying a product, you're supporting a company that, reflects your values.
Exactly. It's like that whole voting with your wallet thing.
Exactly.
But it can't all be about sustainability and, giving back. They've had to deal with challenges too, especially with all the ups and downs in retail.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And actually, one of the articles we looked at, it was from the World Business Academy.
Right.
And it was talking about, a retail apocalypse, especially hitting those, traditional stores,
Yeah.
in places like Santa Barbara.
Right.
But Riviera Towel, they haven't just survived, they've done really well.
So what's their secret? How did they make it through all of that?
I think being willing to adapt is key.
Yeah.
Remember how they started with a physical store but then went online really early on? That's been really important for them.
Yeah, they were way ahead of the game with that. A lot of those traditional retailers were really slow to go online.
Exactly. And that probably gave them a big head start.
Definitely. And, it goes back to Albert's background, right? As a serial entrepreneur, he gets how business works. That's always changing, and you have to stay ahead.
Totally. And he actually said in an interview that, for him, challenges are opportunities to grow.
Wow, that's a really great way to look at it.
Right. He doesn't shy away from change. He embraces it.
Exactly.
And, that made me think about another interesting thing. We found his family history.
Oh, right.
His father and grandfather were pattern makers.
Wow.
So design and craftsmanship are, in his blood.
It's like it was meant to be that family history of making quality things, plus his entrepreneurial spirit.
Yeah, it's a great combination. And we can't forget about Shannon. Her sense of design is all over the brand.
Right.
It's a real partnership. They bring their different strengths together to create something unique.
Yeah, it sounds like they've really mastered that art of reinvention, going from adventure travel to these luxurious Turkish towels and now this whole lifestyle brand.
Totally. And throughout all of that, they've always been looking for ways to give their customers something extra, whether it's unique products, that personalized shopping experience, or supporting those important causes.
Right. It shows how much they care about what they do and making a difference. And even with that global reach, they haven't forgotten where they came from, right?
Yeah.
Santa Barbara.
Right.
They're still really active in the local business community there and supporting projects to like revitalize the downtown area.
Yeah, it shows a real commitment to their community, proof that you can be successful globally, but still stay true to your roots.
It's a good lesson for anyone in business.
Yeah.
Really, it reminds us that it can be a force for good,
Yeah.
locally and globally.
Absolutely. And their story has a lot of good advice for everyone, really, whether you're like an entrepreneur yourself or just trying to navigate, this world that never stops changing.
So what can we learn from the Dipidovas then? What's the takeaway from all this?
Well, first of all,
Hmm.
never underestimate that power of reinvention. Be open to adapting, evolving, finding those new ways to add value, especially as the market changes.
So it's not just about having a great idea at the start.
No,
It's about being willing to change, to pivot when you need to.
exactly. And the second thing, embrace that whole social responsibility thing.
Right.
Customers these days, they care about more than just, profits.
Right.
They want to support businesses that share their values.
Yeah, it's about having a purpose.
Exactly. And then finally, remember that success in business, it's not like a sprint.
Right.
It's a marathon.
Definitely.
It takes resilience, that willingness to adapt, and, you always have to be learning and growing.
And the Dipidovas story really shows that, don't you think? They've faced challenges, but they've embraced change, and they never stopped coming up with new ideas.
Yeah, and that's what makes their story so inspiring. I think they've shown that when you have passion, a vision, and that little bit of entrepreneurial spirit, well, anything is possible, really.
It really is. And on that note, as we wrap up our deep dive into Riviera Towel Company, here's something for you to think about. What traditional craft or product could you reimagine for, today's world? What's your next move?